Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever and whenever you're joining me. My name is Rebecca, and today I am going to lead you through a prenatal flow. Now, this flow can be for everyone. You do not have to be pregnant to take this practice, but it's going to just have people who are pregnant in mind for this vinyasa flow. So we've got lots of modifications to make us feel good and supported and comfortable, and to allow us to create space in our body. If you have props at home, definitely grab some blocks. If you have a bolster, like an actual yoga bolster, that's great. If not, have some pillows on hand. If you have an awesome wedge pillow, I have acid reflux, yay. You could use that as well. And perhaps one blanket or maybe more, and just have them close by. You might not even use them, but they're there for you if you need. And if at any point you do not feel comfortable in a certain pose or shape, please take what feels good to you. The main goal for us through this practice today is to feel good and to feel good about our bodies and feel good in the space while we move through a flow. So we are going to start today in a comfortable seat. You can either come to a Sukhasana, so easy seat, where we'll cross our legs over, maybe option to sit on a block or two. You can also sit hips to heels, so your shins will press into the mat. That might be a little bit tighter on your knees, depending on how your knees are. I've got really tender knees right now, so we are going to be gentle with them. So you can come to any type of seat that is lifting your hips off above your knees. Just bring your hands to your lap and start to close your eyes or bring them to a soft gaze towards the tip of your nose. Just taking a moment to settle in, feel and hear the space around you. And notice how you're feeling today. Not yesterday, not how you'll be feeling tomorrow, but how are you feeling in this very moment as you sit either on your mat or on your blocks. Notice if your shoulders are shrugging up towards your ears. Feel them relax and roll down the spine, and that'll gently lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Notice any sensations that might be arising in your physical body, or maybe thoughts that might be arising in your mind. Notice them, acknowledge them. We'll intend to breathe through them today. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and sigh the breath out. Do that again. Breathe in. Then let the breath go. Keeping your lips sealed this time. Inhale through the nose. And then hold your breath. Pause here. Keep the lips closed. Breathe out through your nose. And holding at the bottom. We'll take one hand to our heart and one hand to our belly. As we breathe in, feel the hand on your belly expanding. Pausing at the top. And as you exhale, feel it contract. Pausing at the bottom. Inhale, feel your belly expand, followed by your hand on your chest expand. Pause. And then exhale, chest deflates and belly deflates. This time breathe in, belly expands, chest expands, and then your clavicles, feel them expand. Keeping your shoulders relaxed, we exhale opposite out. Clavicles deflate, chest deflates, and belly deflates. Thinking about this deep, full body breath as we move throughout our practice today. We'll slowly open up the eyes. And then we'll swing the legs around. Take your blocks out from underneath you, moving into a child's pose. So for a traditional child's pose, we have our feet together at the back of the mat. Knees, let's bring them out really wide. So you can choose if you want them to be the edges of the mat, or if making them wider feels even better to you. If you have a pillow or a bolster, or you maybe want to rest your head on a block or two for this child's pose, just find wherever feels comfortable to you. And if you might have tender knees like I do, maybe child's pose doesn't feel good to you at all. And we're going to come to a fold in our easy seat. And so you've got a little bit of a belly if you're in your second or third trimester. This might not be as accessible for you, and the child's pose, the traditional child's pose, might feel better. Wherever you are, think about lengthening your spine and releasing tension from the head and the neck. Really coming in tune with that audible, equal parts breath in and out. Taking one more full round of breath in here. And then gently walking the hands back if you're in the seated fold like me. If you are not, make sure we slide that bolster out of the way if we have, and we're going to rock ourselves up to a tabletop. So tabletop, we're going to stack our shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Toes can be tucked under or untucked. That's your preference. And then together, inhale to drop your belly, opening up towards the ceiling for a cow pose. As we exhale, press the floor away from you, tuck your chin in towards your chest, round the spine, feeling your belly button reaching towards the spine. And then inhale for cow. We tuck the pelvis, round the spine for cat. Good. Inhale, we'll come through center. And exhale, tuck your toes under, plant your hands, one handprint in front of you for a downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, we're feeling the hips lift up towards the ceiling. Soften through your knees. Give yourself a really nice bend here, and then press through your hands to release your shoulders away from your ears. Deepening our breath always. We'll take the right leg and lift it up towards the ceiling, bend the knee, and just draw some little circles, opening the hips here. Inhale to lift that leg, and then plant it back down to the ground. Inhaling through the other side, left leg to the ceiling. Bend the knee and stack and open. Stretch the leg up and exhale, plant it down. Look to your hands, and we're going to walk the feet, keeping a wide stance all the way to the hands, coming to a ragdoll fold. So for your fold, depending on where your belly is right now, you might want to take blocks and have your fold be more of a halfway lift. If you have the space and it feels good, grab opposite elbows, release the head and neck, and you can sway side to side for ragdoll. So meet yourself where you are. Notice how your body moves in this shape and do what serves you. Take one breath in here. And then release your hands back either to the floor or to the blocks. We're going to inhale for a halfway lift. Find that space, lengthening the spine. Soften the knees. And then bring your hands to your hips. And from here, guide yourself all the way up. So we'll press the hips back as we stand. Standing up nice and tall. Toes are at 12 o'clock. A little bit of water and softness through the knees. Inhale, stretch the arms up for mountain pose. And then bring your hands through heart center. Find connection with 3 ohms. Inhaling through the nose. Breathe in. Let it go. Reach your arms up through mountain. And exhale, send the hips back. Soften the knees. Either come to a full fold or hands to blocks, halfway lift. And exhale, we're going to step back to a high plank and come back to our tabletop pose, lowering the knees so that they are stacked underneath the hips. Moving through 2 more rounds of cat-cow. We'll inhale, drop the belly. And exhale, round the spine. Inhale, shoulders back, gaze up to the ceiling. And exhale, rounding the back. Inhale through tabletop. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Take your right leg and we're going to step it through, noticing where your belly is. So we might need to bring that foot outwards first and then readjust and gently lower the left knee down to the ground, coming to a low lunge. So using you know where your body is at, either stepping that foot through or around and forward. So our low lunge, where our right knee is stacked over the right ankle, toes are at 12 o'clock, and then we're deepening through our left hip flexor here. Find a tall posture, shoulders stack over the hips, and then inhale the arms up, feeling the right knee press out towards the right front corner of your mat. And as we're in these poses today, you have some options with where you want your eyes to go, either right out in front of you, finding one spot, your drishti point, or you can play around with closing your eyes, wherever you feel supported and secure. So balance poses will be a little bit harder to close our eyes, but it really helps us to internalize where we are and focus even more on the breath. So we've got options. We'll take one more inhale here. And then exhale, take your right arm back, left arm forward for an open twist. Gently turning the belly towards the right side of your mat. You can always bring your hands to your heart Or if you want to deepen this twist, take the elbow to the outside of the knee. But we've got options, lifting the chest, hands at heart, or out wide. Keep squeezing your thighs together to stay stable in your lunge. We stay here for a breath in and a breath out. Gently coming back through center, extend the arms up. And then exhale, reach the arms forward, grab for your blocks, and bring them to either side of your front foot, moving into our half split. So you might need to slide your back knee back a few inches and give yourself space to straighten your front leg. The straighter your front leg's going to be, the deeper you'll feel a stretch in your hamstring. So feel the intensity. Don't go to the point of pain. See where you feel the most sensation. You can have a small bend. You can walk your blocks back towards your hips, take less of a fold. You can walk them out in front, take more of a fold. Notice where you are, and then come back to your breath. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, bend back into the front knee. Keep your hands on your blocks. We're going to bring them to the left side of our mat and turn your back foot. So your left foot, we're going to rotate it to the right. So I like to lean on my blocks so I have that space to rotate. And now my chest and my hips are facing the left. They're facing you, but you're facing the left. And then my foot is directly behind my back foot's directly behind my knee. My front foot is facing 12 o'clock, so it's facing the front of my mat, and my knee is pointed in the same direction as my front toes. We're going to move into a modified triangle pose here. So what that will look like, take one block in your right hand, and then start to straighten your front leg, not all the way, having just a micro bend here, and then take your left arm and reach it up towards the ceiling. You can either keep it stacked above your shoulder, or if you want to take a deeper side stretch and you have the space to do so, take it up and over, maybe reaching in the same direction as your right toes. If you need more space between your right hand and the floor, take your second block. Make yourself feel comfortable here. So you want to create as much space as you possibly need to feel good. Taking one more inhale here. Gently lift back through center. We'll bring both hands to the hips and both knees together. And then just turn back to the top of your mat. Coming back to our tabletop, we'll move through 2 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale to drop your belly, arch the spine, gaze up to the ceiling. And exhale to round the spine, gazing towards your belly. Breathe in, lowering the belly down. And exhale, press the floor away. Inhale through our flat tabletop and tuck the toes under if they're not there already. Downward facing dog, hips to the ceiling. Taking a moment in our downward dog. Feel that release in the shoulders and the low back. And we'll inhale our left leg high, either stepping through or stepping around, making your way to a low lunge. Lowering the right knee this time. And then take your hands, start with them on your hips so we can set up our legs for success. So the left knee is stacked over the ankle, toes at 12. Press the left knee out towards the front left corner. Feel that ignition of heat in your right hip flexor. Squeeze the legs together and then begin to extend your arms. choosing where you want your eyes to be, whether they're right out in front of you or out to the front of the mat, or maybe they're closed. You press through the big toe mound of your front foot, the toe mound between your fourth toe and your pinky toe, and then through your heel, feeling really evenly dispersed in weight. We take one more inhale, and then take the left arm back, right arm forward for an open twist. Keep deepening the lunge as we open to the left. Hands can come to heart. They can come to the knee. Ooh, got a nice back crack in there. Or they can stay out long. You can slowly turn your eyes towards your back arm for a little bit more of a balance challenge. And then we'll come back through center, arms to the ceiling. And exhale, take your hands back to your blocks. Shift your right knee back a few inches if that gives you more space as you straighten your left leg this time for half splits. Now, the more you flex your toes to your face, you'll deepen that stance as well. And choose how this feels to you. One more inhale here. And then bend into the knee as we exhale. So we're going to swing the right leg around this time. So we're swinging it towards the left, bringing our blocks with us, opening our chest and our hips towards the right side of our mat now. So you can see my knee is pointing out to 12 o'clock as well as my left toes. Right toes are straight behind me. I'm going to take one block in my left hand and begin to straighten that left leg with a soft bend here. Inhaling the right arm up this time and exhaling, opening the chest towards the ceiling for a modified triangle pose. Feel your shoulder rotate open. Maybe take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Maybe lift your fingers off of the block so you're creating a little bit more space and activating your core. Staying for one more breath in and out. Guide yourself up to stand, hands to hips, and then bring both knees together. Turn back to face the front of your mat. Plant your hands and lift up into a downward facing dog. Hips to the ceiling. Gaze between your big toes, releasing the head and neck. Together, inhale to come high onto your toes and take that wide walk up towards your hands, coming to a forward fold. Option for blocks to come underneath your hands. We breathe in, all come to a halfway lift. And then really root our feet into the ground. Hands to hips, guide yourself up to stand. Good. Inhale for mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just take a moment here, close your eyes, and take a cleansing breath in through the nose. And let it go. Once more, breathe in. Sigh it out. Good. We reseal the lips. We're going to inhale into a chair pose. So chair pose, I like to keep my feet hips width distance apart. You might even find a wider chair here. Maybe a little bit wider than your hips so that you feel comfortable. With hips width distance, you can also take a block. So that's focusing on keeping the hips aligned, the knees aligned, really activating the inner thigh muscles, taking a block in between the thighs and squeezing the thighs as we sit back into our chair. So you choose where you want your legs to be. Make sure your knees are at 12 o'clock and your toes. And then start to sit back. Feeling your tailbone slightly tucked down towards the floor. Rooting through your feet. Maybe lift and spread your toes off the ground. Get even more grounded in the big toe mounds. Sit a little lower. Take one breath in. Take your hands to your heart. We can either let the block just like flop to the ground, or you can be nice and lower it yourself. We're going to bring the weight into our right foot. Start to lift the left knee up for a standing leg raise. So we keep a soft bend in the right knee. Left knee is in line with the hips. Take an inhale. And as we exhale, kick that leg back, coming to a crescent lunge, high lunge. So high lunge here, back heels over the toes. Bring your feet to different train tracks here. So you don't want your left foot to be behind your right. And you can always widen that stance even more by bringing the left foot closer to the left edge of the mat. Finding your lunge. Feel your pelvis slightly tuck up. Might be for smaller bellied folks. And then take your arms up to the ceiling. We breathe in. As we breathe out, open the elbows. Feel your shoulder blades hugging in towards your spine. Maybe take your eyes up towards the ceiling. Good. Now come back through center. Breathe in. Deepen that right knee out towards the right side of your mat. Opening up to the left for star pose. So we're going to turn our bodies to the left, point the toes outwards, open the arms wide. As we exhale, hands to heart center, sink your hips low, goddess squat. So the toes are out to 45 degrees, knees are in the same direction as them. Feel your tailbone tucking down towards the floor, and breathe. Maybe with each exhale, you lower a little bit more. Last one, inhale. Stay for the exhale. Then we open up to star pose. Exhale, hands to your hips. Point your toes the opposite way now. So we're going to point them inwards and then begin to send your hips back, coming to a wide leg forward fold. Grab your blocks. Bring them underneath your hands. And then some options where in this fold. So you can either fold, release your head and neck all the way. If you want to interlace your hands at your low back here, get a shoulder rinse. Or if you want to take some light twists, going one side to the other. We're going to stay here for a few breaths so you can choose how you want this shape to look. You might even just stay here with hands on blocks in more of a halfway lifted fold. Wherever you are, come back to center. Hands are going to come underneath the shoulders on the blocks. Inhale for a halfway lift. And then we're going to walk our hands with our blocks over to our front foot. Turn both feet back to face the front of the mat, coming back to our high lunge. So our blocks should be there. Deepen the bend and lift yourselves back up. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to start inching the back foot forward and then tip your chest forward, kick the left leg off the ground. Hands come to blocks underneath the shoulders for a supported warrior 3. We root down through our standing foot and leg. Turn your left toes down to the floor. I might need to shift myself back a little bit. There we go. Flex your toes in towards your face. We stay. Good. And then we're slowly going to rotate those left toes out to the left. Keep the weight in the right hand and take your left hand to your hip for a half moon. Right hand stays on the block for that lift from the floor, giving us space in our side body. Squeeze the outer leg of the left leg so your glutes are on fire here. We stay here for another breath in. And then gently bring that foot down to the floor, forward fold. As you breathe out, walk the feet out wide. Taking your version of a forward fold. Hips or hands can be on blocks. You can grab opposite elbows. Good. We come to a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then hands to hips, guide yourself up to stand. Taking your block in between your legs, we squeeze and inhale for chair pose number 2. Inhale, send the hips to the back of the mat. Squeeze the block. Focus on the breath. Taking one inhale here. Hands to your heart. Gently drop the block down. And then bring your weight into your left foot. Standing leg raise, right knee lifts this time. Notice if your hips press forward, we want to zip up the belly. Take an inhale. And then send the right toes to the back of the mat. Deepen your front knee. Coming to a crescent lunge. So again, we're coming on the back heel. Well, the back heel's off the ground. Left knee is out towards a 90-degree bend. Doesn't have to fully be there, but it's towards it. And then take your arms up. Find where your eyes are going. We breathe in here. And as we exhale, open the elbows wide, taking a slight back bend. Bring your eyes up towards the ceiling. Stay balanced through your front foot. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale. Reach the arms up. Stay in the lunge. And then use your next breath in to pivot the back foot down, opening to star pose, facing the right side now. Breathe in. And exhale, we sit into our goddess squat. And in this goddess squat, we'll play around with lifting the heels. So lift your right heel off the ground and lower. Left heel and lower. Right heel, lower, and left. Good. Lower both heels off the ground for 3. Breathe in. 2 and 1. Stay for the exhale. Lower your heels. Inhale, star pose. Open up. Hands to hips. Pivot your toes inwards and begin to send the hips back. Coming to our wide leg forward fold. Opposite side. You can grab the blocks. You can take the exact same variation that you took on the other side, or you can try something new. Wherever you are, just notice how you're feeling. Notice your body. Do what's serving you. Begin to come back through center, hands underneath your blocks. Inhale to a flat back. And then we'll start to walk those blocks towards our left foot, turning both of our feet back to face the front. We frame the front foot with the blocks and then lift back up into our crescent lunge. Take a breath in. Exhale, hands to heart. Start to walk forward with your back foot and then bring all the way into the left leg, right leg off the ground. Hands come underneath the blocks for a supported warrior 3. Notice if your hips are opening to the right. We don't want that yet. So turn your right toes down to the floor. Not about how high we can lift that back leg. We're finding squareness with our hips so they're facing the floor, completely parallel with the floor. Good. Now we're slowly opening up. So rotate those toes to the right. Bring the weight into the left hand on the block and take your right hand to your hip. Squeeze that right leg. Soften the left knee. Find even more space with your left hand on that block. Squeeze the leg. Breathe in. And then gently lower the right foot down, coming to a fold. Walk the feet out wide. Option for ragdoll or just hands on blocks in a fold. Start to walk the feet back so they're hips width distance. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to your hips. Guide yourself all the way up. Stretch for mountain. Open your elbows. Take a back bend here. Hips press forward. Maybe look up to the ceiling. We breathe in. And then we come back through center. Breathe out and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to a high plank. And then lift your hips up and back, downward dog. Inhale, we lower our knees. Coming back to a child's pose. Hips to heels. Widen the stance with your knees. We're here for 2 breaths. Good. Then start to lift yourselves up and walk your hands back to your hips. Take one block with you. We'll take a camel pose for a back bend today. So we're going to bring our block in between the thighs just like we did for chair pose. And it's going to keep everything in line with each other and activate the muscles even more. So we're squeezing that block. Bring your hands to your low back. Elbows hug in. And slowly start to press the hips forward. Maybe your eyes go up. Maybe you have the space to grab for your ankles. You choose where you go. Only go as far as your breath allows. And we'll slowly come out of this, inhaling up. And then exhale, round the shoulders, tuck your chin in towards your chest. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Good. Coming up, we'll swing the legs around. Out long in front of us. Let's come to a butterfly. So feet pressed together. You can take blocks to the outsides of your knees for some support. Find a tall posture here. And then if this feels good, stay here. If you'd like to take a fold, you can lean into it. Slowly come on up. We'll take the right leg out long. Or not right leg, left leg, excuse me. Right foot to the inner thigh. And then reach the arms up, taking a side stretch towards the left leg. You can bring your outer arm to a block. And slowly start to lift your chest and switch to the other side, extending the right leg, bringing the left foot to the inner thigh. Inhale the arms up and stretch up and over towards the right leg. Again, the outer arm, so the right hand could come to a block, lifting the ground closer to us. And then inhale back through center. We'll stretch our legs out long. And gently lower down to the floor. I'm kidding. We're not lowering to the floor yet because we're going to come to a pigeon. So actually, you have options. If you would like to take pigeon on your backs in a reclined here, you can, or you can take it half pigeon on your bellies. So we'll have lots of props available for us. We can bring blocks underneath our hips, underneath our thighs, underneath our forehead or our chest. And so to get there, some people like to just come straight into it. You could come through tabletop. You could come through downward dog. We'll take the right knee towards the right wrist. Maybe bring a block underneath your left leg. And then maybe bring a block underneath your chest or your forehead. So you want your hips to be in line with the floor, parallel with the floor. And take a moment, find what feels good for you. In your pigeon, you might be lifted. You might not want to fold into sleeping pigeon, and that's okay. Just continue to feel the right hip pull back, left hip forward. Staying for one more breath in and out. And to come out of this pose, what we're going to do, if you have a block underneath your right hip, get that out of the way. Lean to the right. And then swing the left leg around. We'll send our knees side to side, windshield wiping them back and forth before we move into pigeon on the other side. Again, knowing that reclined pigeon on your backs, if that feels good. This would be more of our first trimester pregnant folk, that might still feel good doing that on their backs. You can move into that or send yourself to downward dog or tabletop, or simply come into half pigeon on the opposite side. So through downward dog, we'll take left knee to left wrist, right leg straight behind you, using the props and blocks as you need. If it feels good to fold or to lower onto maybe your forearms, maybe just your forehead comes to a block. Wherever you are, slowly start to lift the chest. Remove the block from underneath your left hip if it's there. Lean to the left. Swing the right leg around. And then windshield wipe your knees side to side. We're going to lower down to our backs for a supported bridge. So we'll slide a block underneath the hips at the low back. Just feeling the block do the work here. Gently lifting open the chest and opening the spine. Stay here for a few breaths. And then gently lift your hips off the block, slide the block out from underneath you. You're going to start windshield wiping the knees side to side. And then let them fall over to the right. Notice if both of your shoulders are pressed down into the floor, you want your shoulder blades to be pressing in. Giving yourself that full opening here. And then come back through center, windshield wipe them again, and then let them fall all the way over to the left. And then we'll come through center, preparing for Shavasana. So you have lots of different options to take for Shavasana. The first is maybe taking a block underneath your head in your Shavasana, so you have a little bit of a lift. Legs can be straight, bent, or butterfly. If you have some sort of bolster or pillow, or this awesome wedge pillow to lift your head even more, you can take Shavasana here. If you would like to take Shavasana on your side, keeping some sort of incline with your head, lean and bend both knees, an option to take either like a block or a blanket. That would be a little bit more comfortable. My blanket's far away and I don't feel like getting up. So that can be here. You can have both knees bent or maybe just the top knee bent. And finding a comfortable position to be in for the next several minutes. So choose how you want your Shavasana. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Allow yourself to completely melt into the floor. If you still have some heat built up inside, you can always exhale through the mouth to let that heat release. Begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Roll your ankles and your wrists out. And start bringing your bodies back to life. If you're already on your sides, you can release the props from underneath you. If you're not on your side, roll over to one. A symbol of starting fresh and starting new. Use the tools that we practice on the mat, off the mat, throughout your day. The tools of breath and stillness and awareness. Finding ease within the effort. And finding comfort and support through breath and movement. We'll slowly come on up to a seat. Prop yourselves up. Bring your hands to your heart. And just like we started our practice with Oms, we'll end with one cleansing community Om together. Inhale through the nose. Bring your hands to the center of your forehead, center of light and intuition. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. If you'd like to join together, namaste. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.